Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of a Holy Rust Revival. I'm Rob Smith, your host. So, we're going to do something today that might not make a lot of sense. Probably a little bit on the edge of stupid, actually. But, Guy is a little strapped for cash right now. And what I mean by that is, I'm building this. Is it just me, or does it seem like the $100 bill is what the $10 bill used to be? I'm telling you, $100 bills are just slipping out like $10 used to. And old guy just needs every little bit of extra money that he can get to put into that project. But he still wants to play a little bit. And I've been working on this old 1973 CJ5. By the way, it and I were born the same year in the same month, so that's why it's kind of special to me. And I want to keep on working on it. And we have both decided, both the Jeep and I, that we both have some blemishes, okay? We're both 51 years old, and we're just going to live with some of that. We're going to live with the blemishes and just keep moving on. We're going to do everything we can do to keep ourselves running, so to speak. So the project today is this. And again, I struggle to find unique content, but I think this might be kind of unique. I want to put an exhaust system on it, all right? I've gone through the motor, transmission, transfer case, put a brand new gas tank in it last night. Stayed up to 1 o'clock this morning, got all the fuel lines perfect, fuel gauge working, gas tank in there. She's running great. The only thing I have to do other than exhaust system is work on the wiring for the brake lights a little bit. And the blinkers, that's a little bit off. But I want an exhaust. And you might say, well, why don't you just load it up and take it to the exhaust shop? That's not going to be but $200 or $300. Again, that's $200 or $300 that I need to spend somewhere else right now at this very moment. And I don't want to wait putting an exhaust system on the old Jeep. So in Holy Rust Revival form, here is what we're going to do. Are you ready? Okay. All right, so this is two exhaust systems. I'd actually taken one out of that Jeep and the other out of that 67 Mustang and thrown it all in my junk pile out there. I drug it out. So I'm going to try to take all of these two exhaust systems and put them together and make an exhaust system for that 73 Jeep CJ5 without spending a dime. Also, I have chrome tips. Those came off that Mustang as well. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I've never done this before. I do not have a tubing bender or a pipe bender. So everything you see here is going to have to be cut and fabricated. And I think I have enough curves in these old pipes to cut them and weld them together to make do with what I need for that old Jeep. And the ultimate goal is to create some shorty pipes that come out of the side. You've probably seen the old Jeeps with the V8 that have duals that just come straight down around under the frame rail and right out the side. So it shouldn't be too terribly difficult. But we're going to try our hand at being creative, building and making this exhaust system. And it may turn out to be a 100% flop. And if so, we didn't lose any money. How does that sound? And if it turns out great, so be it. We did a wonderful thing. All right, let me crank the old Jeep up and let you hear how it sounds now in comparison with how it's going to sound with our new exhaust on it. So before I crank it up, let me tell you kind of where we are. When I put the motor and everything back in, I basically just put little stub pipes on the end of the exhaust just to make sure that cold air didn't get up there and warp a valve. Sometimes it's not good to actually run off a straight manifold because those valves get hot and that cool air could get up in there real quick. And you can see that one right there. So it's two little short pipes basically just coming right down off the manifold and dumping out of the back. And I'm gonna tell you, She sounds like a beast now. Let's make sure she's in neutral. She is. Let's give her a little fire. Oh, she cranks good. It runs good. But she's loud. Very loud. I know you want to see the engine. Let's open this up. Well, I just thought I'd give you a little peep-see under the hood. She's not detailed yet, but I've started in places where I would have a hard time reaching, priming, and painting the engine. Of course, here I put brand new timing cover gaskets, new water pump gasket, crankshaft seal, exhaust manifold gaskets. Had a few leaks right here from that old air system, and I had to tap and drill and tap these holes and fix them. All of that's basically brand new, rebuilt Motorcraft carburetor, fixed up the wiring, worked on the power steering, brakes are in great shape. I'm telling you, the old Jeep's about ready to hit the spring weather. So, need to go ahead and get that exhaust on there. Let's see what we can do. All right, let's focus on one side at a time. This is the driver's side. That's my little stub pipe I've just got running out. I need to try to find about a 90 degree elbow to come out from here, and I think I'm going to need to cut this off just a little bit because I want the pipe to come as close under that frame as possible to stay out of harm's way down here going off-road. So I want to curve this way and then curve out. So really I kind of need two excuse me, two 90s. Curve here and curve back. Let's see what we can come up with. So this is one of the pipes out of the old 67 Mustang, and I would say that's close to a 90 right there. Let me cut this bracket off and cut this off and see if I can use that. That's about a 45. Of course, that's greater than a 90 right there. Maybe a 45 there. That's going to be some good angles to be able to use. That's actually a pipe off the Jeep. And those are some good 45s, it looks like. Okay, let me get to cutting on this. Cut some of that off. Let's see. Let me cut it off on our 90 here. Okay, and let's cut this. There's a 90-degree angle. Looks like whoever did this did a lot of fabricating too. All right, got a little leaf in there. Okay, it's almost 90. Okay, so I am thinking of I gotta get more of that bracket off, of course. But there we go. Kind of sort of marking it to where it starts curving out this way. Okay, y'all, I've got to stop what I'm doing and actually use the Jeep for something. My father decided after a really good rain to go do some lawn mowing by the pond below the dam. That was a great idea. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I cut this 90-degree piece, cut this one off, and basically I've tack welded it in here. So let me pull this pipe back out and weld this up really good, and then we'll start building out from here. That's kind of what I was looking for. That's nice. Now I gotta figure out how to turn back and start going back with the muffler. Let's just be creative as we go. Okay, so I've just welded. This is a piece from the original Jeep pipe. This is a piece of pipe from the Mustang. The shinier pipe is out of the Mustang, the more rusted out of the Jeep. So I have now made basically a 90-degree curve. So let's go put it in the Jeep and see how it looks. And at this point, we might can fasten this down just a little bit so we can start recreating the exhaust out the side. Well, there we go. There's our first piece welded in. And I would say it starts heading out nicely. Let's see. Right there was our joint. Right up in there. So this little 90 got us bent out. Now we got to figure out how to get a glass pack right up in here and connect to it. So I think the next thing I need to do, excuse me, I'm laying on the floor, is get my glass pack and kind of put it up here where I want it and see if I can retrofit to it from there to it. I think this is going to be okay. We're going. Just hope we have enough pipe to get done what we need to get done. All right, let me get a glass pack ready. So I'm not really sure which one of these to use. This one came out of the Mustang. That one came out of the Jeep. I do like the Mustang one a little bit because it seems to be about, I don't know, 3 inches shorter. And I think we're gonna need the shorter length. I hate to mess those dirt daubers up though, I really do. They worked hard to make that nest there. So let me start getting one of these shorter glass packs ready to go. Well, looky there. I mean, that's just as good as going to the store and buying one. I was actually able to save that flange and most of that flange on the back. Cut out a lot of the mess that was on there. Now, it is a glass pack, and it's a see-through glass pack. It's going to muffle it a little bit, but it's still going to be pretty loud. And that's okay. It feels heavy. Feels like everything is still intact in there. You can see the glass pack ribs where the exhaust goes in and muffles a bit. But yeah, that's going to be fine. And it's only, what, 12 inches, maybe 14 inches? So let's see how she fits up. I think I want it somewhere in the neighborhood of right here. I want it to be tucked under the frame rail so that it won't necessarily get damaged if I were to get on a stump or something. Of course, I don't have the skid plate on right now. The skid plate comes all the way down to there, so it really doesn't matter how far down. I may bring it down a little more to give me a little more air room so that my feet don't get too hot in the summer, or my hind end. So now we got to figure out how to connect those two pipes right there. Let me scratch my head on that one just a minute. Okay, y'all, I need to tell you something. I never told you it was going to be pretty, did I? It's going to be functional. Okay, this is a junkyard exhaust. So the old feller's creative juices got to flowing, and I jumped a little ahead. So let me bring you in and show you where we are at this point. Well, I've got one side complete. I put a little barbecue grill paint on it just to spiff it up just a little bit. And y'all, it's not perfect. That might not be exactly level. I tried to get it as square as I could to the body, but my fittings only allowed me to do so much. And there's a lot of weld joints in there. But look at that chrome tip. Wow. Wow, so standing up here, it just looks like a pretty chrome tip. You don't see any of that other stuff in there, do you? I mean, you know, to be a junkyard exhaust system, I don't think it's too shabby. I'm not going to crank it up yet. I want to, but the other side is not done. I'm afraid we just won't get the full effect of how good it's going to sound with that other side open. So let me get real busy. Y'all know what I did to do this side. I just cut little bits and pieces and made it work. And I hope that I have enough angles left in the pipe that I have to be able to get the other side to match this side. And by the way, I did buy a bracket to hang it with. So I did weld that on. That's the only money I've spent on this whole exhaust system. It was some of these brackets that I got from the old auto parts store. Just welded that to the floor pan underneath and then welded that to the pipe, and it's got a little cushion in between. So that's the only expense that I have on this project thus far. That's about maybe $15. All right, let me get real busy on the other side and make that happen, and I'll bring you back in. Okay, y'all, the old guy just got busy. And I mean, when I say got busy, I started this about 1:30. I think it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock now. So yeah, it took a little while. And it was all the minute little cutting the angles, making sure the angles were right, welding everything up. And it took a lot of time, but it didn't take a lot of money. $15, I think, is what I have in a dual exhaust system on this Jeep now. I used most of the pipe that came out of that 67 Mustang. I did use the little short glass packs that came out of the Mustang, but it got both sides done. And I brought you out here in the middle of the woods so that you can get a better feel of how it sounds instead of in that echoey shop. So I'm going to crank her up and let you hear it. But let me say, it's a lot quieter than it was. Okay, no doubt at all. Is it still loud? Yes. Those little short glass packs are super loud. You know, the older I get, the more quieter I like things. But you know what? I'm not dead yet. You know, I'm 51 years old, And I still like to hear a rumble of a V8. You're sitting on the rumble right here, and it is stereo out of both ears, and I love it. And look, if I have one vehicle where I can just act like a young kid again, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to enjoy it. Matter of fact, I don't know that I would change a thing. Later on, when I get a little money and want to put it back in this Jeep, I may want to keep that same setup. I might tuck the pipes up a little bit better so they won't get hit off-road. But for a spring driver and tooling around the farm, what I have done is absolutely perfect, and it costs very little money to do so. So, without further ado, let me fire up, and then I'll grab the camera and I'll kind of do a 360 with you around so that you can see. Boy, she fires right up. That 304 is beautiful. That's a pretty sound, and it's not terribly loud. It really isn't so loud you can't think. But let me take you around so you can hear stereo. Boy, those chrome tips really added a nice touch. Oh, that old 304 is hitting just right. Nothing sweeter than an old carbureted V8 from the late 60s, early 70s. There's no sound like it. Absolutely amazing. Load up, load up, load up. No. Come on, load up. Okay, y'all, it is quickly approaching one of my favorite times of the day, and that's sunset. I think I'm gonna take off in the sunset in my old Jeep, and Sweetie back here, come here, Sweetie. Sweetie loves to ride, and we're gonna ride a little bit, maybe about 30, 45 minutes before the sun goes down. Not only enjoy the sunset, but also enjoy the rumble of a nice classic V8. Hey, y'all. Thanks for watching this episode of the Holy Rust Revival. I apologize if the video was a little sketchy. Just had to get my nose to the grind and do what I need to do, but I hope you got the gist of what I did. All right, y'all. Have a good one. Thanks again for watching.